welcome back to another episode of the Karter Cast. I'm your host, Karter Baughan. Connor Sparrow here, Dylan Wilkerson here. As always, we're doing football. We're back with a preview. If you didn't listen to our Sunday recap, I would say go check it out, but it's kind of timely. We're here now. You're listening now. Before we get into this, guys, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Going up on the subscribers, so make sure to hit that button. We're back. We need to we got to do housekeeping items start of the show every time. Dylan, Kentucky's, they covered. Vanderbilt choked. Nothing short of a choke there. How's running 2 miles at 5 a.m. every day? The energy seems low from the Wilkerson camp.
It's low. I took my first nap in 4 years probably yesterday.
Oh man.
I'm just really out of shape. I thought that I could do it in 20 minutes, 25 minutes, have yet to break 25. And that just makes me feel awful about myself. Because I remember the days when I could do, anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes. And that it's just all around bad. There is one pro. Getting up early gives me more time to do things in the morning before the day actually starts. So I go do the 2 miles, I get up, I shower, and then I'm like, whoa, what do I do? If I want to scroll TikTok, I can scroll TikTok. I watched Spiral, the newest Saw movie that came out a couple years ago this morning. It's just, there's a pro to that. But I do want to, real quick about the punishments. I mentioned this in our chat. I do find it very funny that all of our punishments are making us better people. We talked about learning a language or doing Duolingo exercises or running 2 miles every morning. That's we're being punished by making ourselves do things that make us better people.
Yeah, we might have to change that. Maybe we do something that makes us worse people.
Oh goodness, what's that?
Sneaky underrated theme on football. Sneaky underrated theme on the Karter Cast. We might not be the best people. We're trying to do these things to better ourselves, and we consider them punishments. I mean, come on, we should be running every day, guys.
Yeah, no, Dylan. Real quick, is this going to continue after the punishment is over on Friday?
So I've thought about it. I don't know if the running will, but maybe getting up a little bit earlier. It's nice getting up and having the time, and you don't rush into your morning. Make yourself a nice cup of iced coffee. So I might start getting up earlier, but I definitely won't be running 2 miles every morning.
That's fair.
And the problem is I thought that it was going to be cool outside. 4:45 a.m. It's probably a little chilly. It's still 65 degrees, which is not chilly by any means. So when you start running and you start sweating, I'm like, okay, I'm over this.
I noticed the first video you sent us, you had a sweatshirt on, and then all of a sudden the update video, a mile in, it was off, and I was like, oh yeah, it's probably steaming outside.
It was bad. And then where I'm running, I don't want to go to the local park because there's no lights. I don't want to run on that trail. So who knows if there's homeless people there. So I'm running in our Platte, but the Platte's not flat. So there's
that's brutal.
Yeah, so it's I got to find the flattest spot, and I'm literally just, if you could see me in the morning, I'm just maybe a strip that's less than a quarter mile long, maybe 1/5 of a mile long. I'm just going back and forth because it's the flattest spot. These people probably think I'm crazy.
That asphalt's unforgiving too.
I'm really glad I got some new Hokas because I don't know what shoes I've been running in my Crocs. Sport mode.
We'll have another punishment this week though. Dylan is excluded from the punishment this week though. I think we have to have a little bit of mercy because and you were and in your defense too, you were a little bit forced into that one. You got peer pressured in.
Yeah, well, I was texting you and I said, "Oh, well, what are we doing about the bet? Is it does it just come up naturally, or is there a pick already in place?" And you're like, "Oh, it'll just come up naturally." And then we're recording the episode, and you're like, "All right, gotta find a punishment bet, Dylan. What do you like?"
Well, I was just gonna bet. I was gonna go to the opposite side of you, and I was like, I was very, very close to doing. I was like, maybe San Diego State +7. Because you were on Boise, and I was like, nah, I'll stay away. Should have just done that one. I should have just done it. It'll be between Connor and I this week, and it'll come up naturally when we talk about college football or the NFL.
Yep. I saw the opportunity last week, Dylan. I knew you loved Vandy preseason, and you hated my Kentucky pick. So I was like, you know what? I know for a fact it's on this game, and it worked out in my favor. Might have been the wrong side. We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, well, that's the last thing I'm going to say. Vandy was definitely the right side. You can argue with the wall if you think otherwise, but that's all I got to say on that subject.
I would never bet on a team that has their stadium under construction midseason. That's so unprofessional. Come on, Big Blue Nation.
I have no defense for that.
All right, NFL Week 4. And then before, I know we're doing a lot of housekeeping right now. First 10 minutes of the show. I think we need to give ourselves a pat on the back, make us feel like good people, because we're not taking credit for the parlay cashing.
Nope,
So
we're honorable. We're honorable men.
If you're listening to the show, you probably heard us say Packers -2, and then the other 2 picks, Bills -6, and then the over in the Jags-Texans game. Well, Packers only won by 1, but by the time the episode posted, it was +1. Money line was plus odds or even odds. So therefore, yeah, we could have counted it. But we're not. That's what we said. That's what the graphics said. We're not counting it. We're going 0-3, even though a couple of us cashed the parlay on here, actually.
Packers money line was in the parlay. Always buy the half point. Always take the -120 in the parlay like that. It's more times than not, it's going to work out in your favor.
Hey, don't talk about taking -120 with Tim on Twitter.
Anyway, Timbo Slice.
All right, let's do NFL Week 4. Biggest game of the week, easily. I just, how is this not a primetime game? Like, this is the game of the week. I understand before the season it was, Chiefs Jets is going to be awesome. Sunday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers. I understand that. But, like, how is this not, like, if you're ESPN, how are you not begging for this game? It's Dolphins at Bills. Line is Bills -3 right now. Over under 54. I'll let you start, Dylan.
Yeah, a couple things here. I mentioned it on our last show, the review show, or recap show. I have the Bills as the best team in football, and obviously they lost to the Jets week 1. Crazy game. A lot was happening. But the Bills have quietly blown out their last 2 opponents, like just in a Sunday 1:00 game. So I love the Bills here. The Dolphins coming off of a 70-point game, obviously impressive. Their offense is, I would say, the best in the NFL right now. But the Bills' defense is something else, and they're not going to be able to score like that on the Bills. So I love the Bills here. I got them at 2.5. I still like them at 3. I'm not a huge fan of taking divisional favorites, especially home favorites. But Josh Allen, I've said it before, Josh Allen's kind of giving me Kirk Cousins primetime vibes. As long as he's playing, it's not primetime, then maybe Josh Allen's is okay with the turnover. So I'm going Bills here. I love the Bills. Still think the Dolphins are good, but the Bills are pretty solid all around where the Dolphins just aren't.
I'm with you here, Dylan. I'll bounce off that. If you look at the Bills, I know they played the Commanders and the Raiders, 2 very, you can say, mediocre to bad teams. They held Washington to 3. They held Vegas to 10. Yeah, Dylan, Vegas is mediocre. Held Vegas to 10. Very convincing fashion. I don't know if the Dolphins are going to be able to just run and go with the Bills. They're not going to be able to have whatever they want to. We're not going to see 70 points this week. And if you look at the Dolphins, they let up 34 to the Chargers week 1. Like, their defense is prone to giving up big plays. They played Denver, New England, 2 very slow-paced offenses, not something I'm confident in. The Bills have the firepower to compete, and especially on their home turf, I love them at 2.5. I think they could win by a touchdown, and then people start overreacting, saying, Josh Allen's back. I think the Dolphins will be fine, but for this game, I love the Bills at 2.5. I think this may be a wake-up call for Miami.
Man, I don't know, because the Bills really haven't played a good team.
Yeah, you're right, but they have looked so good, and like they've won in convincing fashion. They haven't played down to their opponent. That kind of tells me.
The Jets, they played down to the Jets. They lost.
But that was a weird. Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Monday night game. That was 9/11. Ran out with the flag. Emotions were everywhere. The punt return. I mean, it was just so many variables there. And like Dylan said, they've won in convincing fashion the last 2 weeks, especially the Raiders. The Raiders are a decent team.
No, the Raiders are. You just said they were mediocre.
They're decent. You
just said decent and mediocre.
Decent.
No. Decent and mediocre are not the same thing.
I guarantee if you look up decent.
The Charlotte Hornets are not a decent team. They are a mediocre team.
If you look up decent and mediocre, I bet they're synonyms.
Someone get the source. Someone get the source. Those are the same. Those mean the same thing.
What are you talking about? No, they're not. Mediocre is average. Decent is above average.
No. I wouldn't agree with that. I'd say decent is average. Yeah.
I'm looking at decent. It says satisfactory, reasonable, fair, acceptable, adequate, sufficient, good enough.
So decent is like the positive of average then.
I would put
and then mediocre is the negative of average.
Okay, that's fair.
No,
That's fair.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Because
Yeah.
nobody uses mediocre in a positive tone, but people use decent in a positive tone.
Okay. I can get behind that.
Okay, but with the Bills, the Commanders were terrible. Yes, they beat them in convincing fashion. Yes, they won an NFL game by 1,000 points, whatever. They dominated them. It was another professional football team. But the Dolphins did the same thing last week.
I think you can make the argument that the Dolphins haven't really played anybody. Like, I don't think the Chargers are that good. The Pats, divisional, and then
I think the
Broncos
Chargers are pretty good.
No, Chargers.
Well, they gave up 34 to him. They gave up 34 points to him. So I'll rest my case. Like, the Bills' offense is just as good as the Chargers' offense.
But is the Bills' offense as good as the Dolphins' offense?
No. I'll answer that. No.
But with all this being said, Bills. I like Bills minus 2.5. I had to play devil's advocate there because I love the Bills because their defense is better. The defense is going to win this game. Home field advantage. I know you don't like taking home divisional favorites, Dylan, but I think the Bills here, I think this is a wake-up call, like Connor said. I'm on the Bills. I know we go chalk all the time. We all agree a lot on similar games, but I think Josh Allen, I think the run game, he's going to run in a touchdown. I like that a lot as a separate bet from this, but Josh Allen to run in a touchdown. It's going to be a fun game regardless. I see this like 27-24 final. Bills win. I think that's fair.
I'll be honest, I don't know if this is the square side. I think that a lot of people bet the Dolphins. Getting points after scoring 70. They're kind of the fun team. I don't know for sure, but I could see people going.
2 is the favorite for MVP right now. The Dolphins Super Bowl has been just bet to death right now. I think they are the square team. I think, or it just might be 50-50 actually.
I think this is the perfect time. I think it's the perfect time to fade the Dolphins, though. The hype's at an all-time high right now, 70 points. Everybody was scoring touchdowns. Everybody's going to see that plus sign on the money line or tease it down to like a touchdown or something like that. This is the perfect time to fade them. I'm telling you right now. People forget about how good the Bills are. They've had some rough patches. Josh Allen's been up and down the last however many games he's played going back to last year. He looks kind of back right now, so I like the Bills, even though we're all chalk. You know what? And we're profitable. So that's okay that we're on the same side. That's okay.
Only if someone had like a sweet bet like Josh Oliver anytime touchdown. Like, wouldn't that be cool?
That would be.
That from what I understand, that's only the top tier guys that come up with that stuff. That's the stuff you normally have to pay for.
Yeah, those kind of odds. That's a monthly fee.
Yeah, you typically have to pay for Mormon moneyline parlays, but you know that's just me. I don't know. Anyhow, let's move on. Ravens at Browns. Browns -3 in a divisional game against the Ravens. This is like a first time in like a decade. The Browns are favored against the Ravens. With that being said, give me the Ravens +3. I think the Ravens win this game outright.
I agree. Dylan, I don't know if you want to touch on this. I can go first. I like the Ravens here, especially getting 3. I'm going to bet them at +3. I also like them with the money line. Like, the Browns defense has been so good this year, but I just don't trust that offense. Deshaun Watson showed some flashes, but the Browns defense, they beat up on the Titans, lost to the Steelers, and they were good against the Bengals. That was week 1 Burrow injury, weather-related game right there. It was pouring rain. I like the Ravens here. Even with all those guys injured, I like the Ravens.
Dylan?
I'm with you guys. I like the Ravens this position. This game is going to be taking place on the ground. Both teams love to run the ball, and they can't really pass it very well. I'm also going to be on the under. Obviously, a divisional game, but like I said, when the game is on the ground, the clock keeps ticking. There's not those explosive plays usually. Pro Football Reference. So I haven't watched much of the Browns this year. Browns have had 9 fumbles. Is that true?
It is.
Does that
not
sound
fumbles
right?
lost, just fumbles in general, right?
Yeah, that must be. It didn't say fumbles lost, but the Ravens converting on 3rd down, I think the second highest, over 50%. That's always a good stat if you want to back a team. Away, divisional, dog. Yeah, I like the Ravens here. I think that the Browns they caught a sleepy Cincinnati team, Sleepy Joe, some would say maybe, because he didn't play in the preseason.
I agree.
Titans are bad. I mean, yeah, I like the Ravens here. Ravens in the under.
Oh, the under. Okay.
I like the under too, Carter. Carter, I texted you before the podcast. I love the under here. This is going to be ground and pound rock fight. It might be like 10-9 or something like that.
This game does feel a little 16-13-y.
Yeah, it does. This game might not get to 40 points.
Both teams love to blitz, and they have 2 quarterbacks that aren't afraid to run the ball. So even if it's not designed runs, I still think that there's going to be a lot of running this game from the quarterbacks when they're pressured outside the pocket.
Are you saying these quarterbacks can't throw and they can only run?
I'm saying, yeah, they're running backs.
Are you saying that Lamar Jackson did not deserve his contract? Go ahead, put that as the clickbait title, Carter.
They're both overpaid running backs.
Oh my gosh.
Sound off in the comments.
What do you think?
This will get left in the full episode. This is not going on TikTok.
Does this dude watch football?
He must love Sean Hannity. Anyhow.
Anybody could buy a microphone.
Ravens +3. I don't think there's much to it. I just don't think this Browns offense is explosive enough. I mean, when you're playing against a pass defense like the Titans, like you should be able to throw all over them, and they proved they couldn't. And the offensive line has been disappointing for the Browns. It's just their defense has been so good. They might have the best defense in football right now. I mean, it has been elite. Maybe the Bills. Bills' defense has been insane too.
But the Browns' defense, is that a product of the teams that they've played? So they've had the Bengals, they've had the Titans, and who's the other one?
Pittsburgh. They lost.
Yeah, they lost to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
but the thing is,
Pittsburgh.
14 of Pittsburgh's 26 points in that game were from pick six's fumble recovery, like scoop and scores.
Right.
Yeah. They had 2 defensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
So
I think Lamar might have a big day too. This is going to be like one of those games where he's constantly pressured, flushed out of the pocket. He might have 150 rush yards.
All right. Oh, wow. All right. Well, once again, get the chalkboard out. You guys want to go across the pond?
Shall we?
London. All right. Woody and the fellas are going to be in London. Toy Story, the Toy Story cast. Falcons, Jags -3. The over under is 43.5. I mean, I'll start off. I know we get a lot of these 3-point lines. I feel like we're all going to be on the same side here. Jags all the way, baby. Jags. This is a home game for the Jags. There are a lot of Jags fans in London. They're going to be there for 2 weeks. Trevor Lawrence, this Falcons team got exposed. They really got exposed this past week against the Lions. The Lions don't have a great defense, and it exposed everything about Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, I was low on Desmond Ridder in the preseason, Carter, for our previews. I compared him. I was like, how can you not have as many question marks about him as Bryce Young? Bryce Young hasn't been great so far this year. Doesn't take away from the fact that Desmond Ridder's nothing special so far. They're 2-1. That's not in large part due to him. When they really get the run game stopped, you can't trust him to throw the ball to win you a game. So I like the Jags here too. And trust tree time real quick. If you're an England native or a London resident, did you kind of get forced into liking the Jaguars? Did the NFL kind of say, you know what? We need more fans of this franchise. They're in Florida. There's another team there in Miami. You guys got to like the Jaguars. How do you feel about that? I don't know if I'd love that.
I love it. What do you mean? They're a playoff team. They get to watch a playoff team. They get to watch a solid team, a team that's probably going to win their division and be in the playoffs. It's a good thing.
They planting the seeds to relocate? What's going on here?
I don't know.
I'm with you guys. I love the Jags. London is pretty much Jacksonville 2.0. Shout out Toy Story cast. Fun fact, my mom and I's dance at Abby and I's wedding. You've got a friend in me. Shout out Randy Newman. So,
oh wow,
the Toy Story cast is going to hit home. But I do love the Jags. Shout out Nick Giffen at Action Network. He does his luck ratings, and Jacksonville's literally, I think they're the second unluckiest team. And when
so many drop passes, tip drill interceptions.
Yeah, and you just can't expect those things to go on forever. And like you said, Atlanta only scored 6 against a historically bad Lions defense, and Houston may have lost to Jacksonville by a pretty big margin. But if you look at the stats, Jacksonville outplayed them. More yards gained, more first downs. It's just a couple turnovers here and there, and some bad field position. So I'm all over the Jags here. Love them. -3.
That's a classic AFC South game where just they come in, they play down to their competition, and they just didn't wake up for the game. Bounce back here in London. They beat the Falcons, win by 10+. I might take an alternate spread in this game. I love the Jags every which way. May or may not be my favorite pick of the week.
Well, it doesn't help, Carter. They played an future All-Pro quarterback in CJ Stroud last week. So coming off a brutal test like that.
Hey, the CJ Stroud hype is getting uncomfortably big.
Panthers fans are starting to talk, and I don't like what I'm hearing.
Bryce Young is going to be fine. Panther
I
fans,
agree.
calm down. Bryce Young is going to be fine. He'll be fine. We've seen what, 7 quarters of him? Just calm down. He's going to dominate the Vikings, but we don't get to talk about the poopiest games of the week. We don't get to talk about Broncos Bears. We don't get to talk about Panthers Vikings. Instead, Raiders Chargers. Chargers -5.5. Over under is
gotta be 48. Let's go.
48.5. Chargers -5.5. Dylan, someone who loves the Raiders, says they are not mediocre. They are a good team, apparently. Talk to me.
Yep. Future AFC West champions. I have the Raiders as a favorite in this game. I have them as a favorite. Even if Jimmy G doesn't play, it's not going to matter. This game's about Josh Jacobs and pretty much only Josh Jacobs. Maybe the defense. Chargers let the Vikings run for 100-plus yards last week. I'm pretty sure the Vikings have had a game this year where they had negative rushing yards. So whenever you let a team like that run for 100-plus yards, it's going to keep happening. It's almost like Houston Texans level right now. I expect Josh Jacobs to have a big game. I said it on the recap show. Keep an eye out for Josh Jacobs' rushing yards. Go over up to triple digits probably. He's going to have a game. Mike Williams, obviously out. Stinks for my fantasy team because I had him. But the Chargers' weapons are slowly dwindling, and I was not very high on this team in the first place. Divisional dog, 5.5 points. I like the Raiders cover. I like them to win the game. I think they beat the Chargers. Keep in mind, Chargers had no business beating the Vikings.
Carter, you want to bounce off that?
I mean, they won though.
Well, yeah.
I will say, Brandon Staley tried to hand him that game. I don't know what kind of decision that was to go for it in your own territory like that. I mean, I know the Vikings offense is good and Kirk Cousins was kind of dialing it up a little bit, but to go the length of the field with that little time left, you got to take your chances there. You got to trust your defense. I don't know about this game. I think this is going to be a complete stay away for me. 5.5 is like right in that weird zone to where it's like, it's not 6, not 7, not a full touchdown. Don't love that. I can't trust the Chargers as this big of a favorite, but I also can't trust Vegas when they might not have their starting quarterback. I know you said it's all about Josh Jacobs. They're still going to have to throw the ball a little bit. So I don't know.
Well, the Josh Jacobs thing is where I wouldn't even take anything straight up in this. I would just take Josh Jacobs props every which way. Touchdown, rush yards, whatever you can get on him, just hammer Josh Jacobs props because he is going to run all over this Chargers defense like every running back does against them.
Yeah.
Problem there, Carter. Let me play devil's advocate. Gets injured, say in the first quarter. I think any other running back can step in and still run all over that team, but you're screwed on your Josh Jacobs props.
I honestly don't think you can when it's Aiden O'Connell or Brian Hoyer starting.
Well, what does that have to do with the run?
Because you're bringing in a worse running back while you also have a depleted quarterback.
If the quarterback can do this, that's all that matters when you're talking about
But the thing is, if the quarterback, but that's what I'm saying, though. An elite running back like Josh Jacobs can make up for that, downgraded quarterback. But a worse version of Josh Jacobs, a second stringer, going in with a second string quarterback eliminates that because the Chargers know exactly what's going to happen.
And what's going to happen?
They're going to try and stop the run.
Okay, but
they're going to load the box.
Well, then you throw a quick slant to Devontae Adams and call it a day.
Yeah.
But based on that logic, you just reverse it and say it for the running back. Oh, well, the star running back is out. They're just going to throw the ball.
But but you're playing with a bad quarterback.
But you're playing with a bad running back.
He deserves his guaranteed money. Come on, guys. Unreal.
We're going to go back and forth. You're saying that the Chargers will sell to the run.
I'm starting to think this is pointless.
It is. But, yeah, it is. Because we're just going to keep going in circles.
Because the thing is, I'm going to end up on the Raiders, and we're both going to end up on Josh Jacobs props. So we're just running circles. Yeah. We're just taking different paths to end up at the same spot. All right. I'm not going to take anything straight up Josh Jacobs props. Let's move on. We're going to skip Titans Bengals. How about that? We're going to skip Titans Bengals. I think we got to talk about Sunday Night Football. Chiefs Jets. Last I saw, it was Chiefs -9.5, over under 42. That low?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 42, Chiefs 9.5 in New York at MetLife. I'll let you start, Connor. This is a low total. I don't think we've ever seen a Chiefs total this low ever.
No, this is super low. It's for a good reason, though. When this line first opened, it was 45.5, and I instantly put some money on it. It's now dropped, like I said, 41.5 on some books. It's this low for a reason. The Chiefs may be able to put up 4 or 5 touchdowns, but what are the Jets going to do? They're going to put up more than 10 points? I don't think you can trust that. Unless they start Trevor Siemian, then I would feel a little bit better about the over. The main point I want to hit on this game, if you're Travis Kelce, do you tell Taylor Swift maybe to take a night off, stay at home, don't come to the game because she sees number 2 in that 4-screen Jets uniform? She might be like, wow, he's kind of a stud. He went to BYU. He's Mormon. Okay. It's a total package. Might be a little bit of a threat there. So, Travis Kelce, maybe tell Taylor Swift to, hey, stay home for this one. Don't put your eyes on the other team on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you can't see Zach Wilson dice him up. You can't see that.
Yeah, Zach Wilson might know Taylor Swift's there, and then I'm taking every Zach Wilson prop on the book.
This is the week of the anytime touchdown parlay. With Zach Wilson, Taysom Hill.
If Taylor Swift is in that press box at MetLife Stadium, I'm hammering Zach Wilson anytime touchdown. I'm hammering his over 200 passing yards. We're going in. We're going all in.
Dylan,
I think conversely, Travis would be the guy to be like, hey Taylor, why don't you come this week and when we play all the bad teams? So she was there against the Bears, coming against the Jets. Make sure she's at both Broncos games. Make sure she's at both Chargers games. Travis seems like the guy that would do that. Like, hey, we're going to blow these people out. Why don't you, make your way down the stadium?
It's going to be fun. We'll be up by 30. I'll wave to you from the sideline. Don't have to focus on the game at all. Yeah, it's the perfect storm.
Yeah, I think Jets money line. I think that's the story of this. Shout out Grant.
I have nothing on this game. I will never bet the Chiefs as that big of a favorite, and I hate the Jets. So I'll be watching. I'm sure I'll be on some player prop or some boosted promo, but nothing that I'm. Yeah, something risk free, but no legit play here.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have anything on this one. You think the Chiefs are going to win. You never want to take the Chiefs more than when they're over like a 4.5 point favorite. Stay away. Get away from Kansas City. It's just all going to be Taylor Swift stuff. So, I mean, NBC is just salivating. Their graphics department right now is just sitting there like, hey, you got to get every Taylor Swift graphic like ready to roll. They're probably working 24 hours a day.
Every potential song lyric, get it written down, get it on a graphic. We're airing it because we got to be prepared.
Should we do picks and parlays?
Oh, I think we should.
Real quick, just throwing it out there. Panthers-Vikings game, Adam Thielen revenge game. So take some Adam Thielen props, anytime touchdown, and Hayden Hurst. Vikings love to give up tight end touchdowns. Hayden Hurst, anytime touchdown.
If Bryce Young plays, which he is on track to, especially, Hurst should have a bounce back game. I like that.
Yeah, if Andy Dalton's playing, then chill on it. He does not look for Hayden Hurst whatsoever.
Yep.
While we're talking about the game real quick, fun fact, Kirk Cousins leading the league in passing yards, but yet we still had a conversation prior to this year that he was not a top 10 quarterback. There were people that tried to make that argument. Not going to say who.
I mean, maybe it's just good stats, bad team guy. Maybe it's like, oh, when you're on the Charlotte Hornets averaging 20 a game, like, does that mean anything?
There's only one quarterback. Who else is going to get the passing yards?
No, but I'm saying is he's putting up useless passing yards that don't matter because it's not winning passing yards. A lot of those did come in garbage times against soft coverage.
When? Not the Chargers.
The Eagles for sure. Two of those drives were complete garbage yards. Okay. But it's only been 3 games, and that's enough right there to boost him over to the passing yards number. But I will say, Kirk has impressed me, even though the Vikings are 0-3.
Those last couple drives against the Chargers, he was dialing it up. He was making some throws in some tight windows. I will say, I enjoyed watching that.
And the interception, not his fault. Not his fault.
Yeah. Well, they're still 0-3.
Yeah, that sucks. He won't be there after this year at the latest.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, fly Jets fly. That's what they say. Anyhow, let's do parlay picks, and then we'll move on to college football. I'll start off with my pick. I already talked about it. Favorite pick of the week is Jags -3. I love the Jags. I hate the Falcons. I think the Falcons are a really bad football team. I think the Falcons are also misusing their running backs in a major way. I think they should be really using a 50-50 dose of Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson and using Bijan more in the receiving game because I think that's where he can really tear teams apart. But eventually Taylor Heineke has to come in for this Atlanta team. Taylor Heineke is the better quarterback than Desmond Ritter. And a little inside information for you guys. I may have to cut this out, but a little inside information. Little Birdie told me, cough, cough, Tyler Algier got word from a source around the BYU, world. Back in April, they were talking about, like they were excited for Taylor Heineke when he signed. And he was like, oh yeah, Taylor Heineke, dude, that's going to be dope. He's our starting quarterback. And then someone else that I know had to tell him, no, they're starting Desmond Ritter. And he goes, what? Why?
Oh, no.
He sucks.
Oh, that's brutal.
That Tyler, is brutal. This is from Tyler Algier himself. Like, I'm dead serious.
That's actually brutal.
Found this out yesterday.
But if you're the Falcons, do you think they would actually pull the trigger on benching Ritter? I think they would have to think they've been competitive in enough games to actually have a shot.
Yes, I think you do pull the trigger and bench Ritter. I think that leash is a lot shorter than people realize because he wasn't a first-round quarterback. There's not a huge financial commitment. There's not a lot invested into Ritter, and you need to win games. You have a good team in a bad division. Like, this is go time. The Saints lost their quarterback. The Bucs are bad. They're not a good team. The Panthers are a bad team right now. This is the time if you're the Falcons. You can't afford to lose games. With that being said, with Desmond Ritter playing still, as long as Desmond Ritter's playing, I'm going to fade him. Give me Jags -3 at home in London.
I love that, Karter. I love that. My pick's going to be Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland Browns under 41. That's what I'm rolling with this week. We talked about it earlier. We hit on it. Talked about the run game. It's going to be a rock fight. Both defenses are pretty good, especially Cleveland's. There's going to be red zone turnovers. There's going to be defensive stops, forcing field goals. That clock is going to run. I love the under here. It's going to be a rock fight. And even though, Nick Chubb's out, J.K. Dobbins out, they're both out for the year, I still think there's going to be relying on the run. So I like the under here. The clock's going to keep moving. And, divisional game, so give it to me.
Dylan.
Love both of those plays. Am I on? Okay. Love both of those plays. I'm going Raiders +5.5. We already talked about it a little bit. Chargers allowing the second most yards per play, allowing the most pass yards per play, which is, I would not have expected that. But Raiders here, I have them as a favorite. Take the spread. They win the game.
There we go. I love it. That's our podcast parlay this week. It's a 3-legger. Raiders +5.5. Jags -3 in London. Baltimore, Cleveland under 41. 6-1 right there. I love this play. I love this. I know, Connor, you weren't. We had questions about the Raiders play. We did. But 5.5 is a lot of points against this crappy Chargers team.
I've been convinced. Dylan did a great job selling his pick during this breakdown. I like it. Use all your risk-free parlay boosts, everything you get like risk-free from all these sports books. Put $20, $25 on that. Have you a nice payday. It's going to hit.
Speaking of that, I think I like this one more, is our anytime touchdown parlay. My pick is Josh Jacobs. I've already talked about it. There's no more explanation that Josh Jacobs is going to run all over this Chargers team. He's going to get in the end zone. Give me Josh Jacobs. Anytime touchdown.
I like that a lot. I'll hit next here. Colts Rams this week. I'm targeting that game. I like Kyren Williams. Colts run defense is nothing to write home about. The Rams have clearly made Kyren Williams the lead back. He's the only one getting carries for them right now. They traded Cam Akers away. Lamar Jackson ran 2 in against the Colts. I like Kyren Williams here because he does play a little bit out of the backfield as well. They've targeted him on some screen passes, little short dump downs. They've also been handing it off to him at the goal line. So I like Kyren Williams this week. I don't have official odds on it yet, but I think it'll be plus odds for sure.
Dylan.
Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow's back. We saw it last week. Apparently all it takes is for him to play on an aggravated calf injury to look like a competent quarterback. So Jamar Chase was his number one guy, will continue to be his number one guy. Kind of chalky, but I think it's like +125, +135. And the Titans' pass defense, bad, really bad. So Jamar Chase.
I love it. This is a heavy hitter one right here. I know it's a very chalky parlay, but it feels so right, doesn't it?
It does.
Doesn't it feel right?
And you can't ask for Josh Oliver +1,000 every week. Those are gems that Dylan pulls out. Like once in a while, he'll give you one of those gems. We got to go back to the board here with some of these.
Okay, but screw Tank Bigsby and the Jaguars for not letting Travis Etienne run it in. Just got to put that out there.
It's okay. Javonte Williams was a square pick too, and that was ridiculous. Broncos offense is a dumpster fire. I will never be doing that.
Javonte Williams, it's just they hate red zone. Javonte Williams does not exist.
They love Samaje Perine. They love him. I don't know why.
Anyhow, all right, that's the anytime touchdown parlay this week. I don't know the odds on it. The odds aren't out on FanDuel or any of the other books yet, so we'll get it on the graphic. Follow us at CarterCast on all social media, at Wilkerson and Dylan, at Connor_Sparrow, at CarterBA. But done with the NFL. Move on to college football.
Let's get it.
All right, let's do college football now. We're going to start off. We're going to Boulder. This is a 10 a.m. Mountain Time kickoff, local time. 10 a.m. That is criminal. Criminal if you live in Boulder. You're a Colorado fan. You're going to this game. I don't like that this game's at 10 a.m. local time. I don't think that's fair. The spread right now, USC Colorado, USC on the road, minus 21.5, up to 74.5 on some books. I'm seeing 73.5. Crazy high total. Reminiscent of the Ole Miss Alabama game that we all took the over on, when it was like 80 points, and just the saddest thing ever. It got to like 35 total, I think.
Oh, yeah, that was dead within the first 10 minutes. We knew that. Yeah. This is sneaky a weird game. You mentioned it, noon kickoff, but 10 a.m. local time. USC's used to playing at like 10 p.m. Eastern time. So this is where weird things happen. That's why I'm staying off the spread. I really thought it would jump up more to like USC minus 24, closer to that number. It stayed 21.5. I don't feel great about either side of this. I also don't feel great about the total. I mean, I honestly might just take the over. Noon kickoff, there might just be points every possession. I don't trust USC's defense, that's for sure. We saw Colorado just roll over against Oregon. If anything, I'm taking the over here, but just because it's such a high number, I don't know. What do you think, Dylan?
I hate the game. No, not over. Definitely not.
I will. You hate the game because you hate fun.
This game's not. What's fun about this game?
What do you mean? How is this game not fun? We have interesting personalities. We have the best quarterback in college football playing. There's going to be a zillion points scored in this game.
I don't know if there's going to be. I don't know. I think this is.
I'm not saying the over is going to hit, but I'm saying that it is going to be in the 50s at least.
Yeah, I don't think the game will be close, but I do believe that Colorado's scoring ceiling is higher this game than it was last week at Oregon.
Yes,
Oregon has a little bit of a defense. USC, I mean, it is just non-existent. So I have really no take. I'm kind of glad we're kind of hopping off the Colorado hype train. I was kind of tired of seeing all that stuff, but I do like Dion. No take here though. I probably won't watch this game. What this?
Oh,
is
you gotta
12,
watch
right?
it. You have to watch it, Dylan. You have to watch this game. Come on.
This one's at 12.
Yeah.
I'll have to get stats guy on it, but this probably I don't care about this game. It means nothing.
It's not going to make a screen.
I just texted on Slack to its stats department. They just got back to me. You want to know the other noon games?
Yeah.
I'll give you the big ones. Utah State, UConn.
That one's not making it.
Texas A&M, Arkansas.
No.
Penn State, Northwestern.
Yeah.
No,
What?
Dylan, you're a sicko.
No,
You're a sicko.
no.
I got to see what's up with this Drew Aller guy.
Against Northwestern?
They're a 27-point favorite.
So, all right. What do you mean?
Clemson, Syracuse.
That'll make it.
That'll be a good game. I'll watch that one.
USC, Colorado. South Alabama, James Madison.
I'll watch that one. I got
Florida,
futures invested in that one.
And then Florida, Kentucky.
Yeah, I'll watch that one. There you go. There's my 4.
Oh wow.
There's not 2 screens. You have a quad box and then one other screen.
See, try to come up with something funny. I'm not quick enough. Come on, Dylan.
Yep, there it is.
What
I know it's because that
I be doing on my other screen?
It's that 5 a.m. 2-mile run.
Well, he's got the quad box Carter, and then he's got Amy Schumer highlights running on the other one. He liked the comedy special so much. So
I'll be playing Magic the Gathering on my iPad.
The thing is, that's exactly what's going to happen. That's not like a bit or anything. That's going to happen.
You're listening to Jake and whatever the hell they were.
Black Jake and the Carnies while playing
Black Jake and the Carnies.
Yeah, while playing Settlers of Catan.
Catan. Oh man, those are the days.
There's gonna be people on here listening. They're like, "It's Catan." Shut up. Okay, tomatoes.
Keep it up, and I'll unleash my Pegasus Courser on you guys.
Oh,
I'll
no.
Really making fun of Magic the Gathering.
I'll release my Gyarados.
That's a Gyarados.
Pokemon
What is
clears Magic the Gathering.
Pokemon.
I've never played a second of Magic the Gathering. I'm not going to lie.
No, not playing Magic the Gathering. Pokemon clears. Anyhow, but Colorado USC, this is going to be a fun game. Like, this is a must-watch game. If you're into the college football, if you're into college football, you're into the college football landscape, and you have to watch this game. This is why I'm convinced Dylan doesn't actually watch Caleb Williams.
That's not a bad take.
Watching Caleb Williams play against teams like Colorado, Arizona, I might as well just be watching a pro day at his college where there's no defenders. You know, when they're doing all the backflip, twirl, spin throws, I might as well want to be watching because
that pro day got Zach Wilson taken second overall. So come on.
Gosh, I can't argue with that.
Okay.
Sorry.
And also
back off.
Yeah, chill. Zach Wilson didn't play anybody. Their hardest team was Coastal Carolina, but that's a different story. I don't know what I want to have. This is a game you want to have something on so bad, but you don't like feel comfortable enough about taking either side of the total, taking either side. Like I lean wanting to, shout out Grant here, USC minus 12.5, but I could see Colorado coming out hot out of the gate. We saw USC come out slow against Arizona State last week. I mean, that was within one score at halftime.
Right.
And on the road, altitude in Boulder, like, I don't know. This is a stay away from the betting perspective. I think it's just going to be a fun game to watch, as lame as that is to say.
No, I completely agree. There's not a side, there's not a total that I feel good about in this game. I can't justify betting any of it from my perspective because the total's such a high number. You could look like an idiot betting the over and when there's 40 total points, or they could come out and score 50 in the first half and you're looking great. Like, I don't even know what to do.
But it would be pretty awesome hitting an over 73.5.
It would be.
Sweet.
It would be sweet. I can't get suckered in. I'm better than that this year, Karter. I'm better than that. Come on.
Yeah, I don't think I am. Lord forgive me. I'm going back to that old me. I'm using that meme right here. Give me the over.
Oh no.
Give me the over. Yep. It's not going into the college football podcast parlay, by the way, guys. We're okay there. We have an under pick this week, but give me the over. Give me the over USC Colorado. I'm going to regret it. I already regret saying that.
What makes hitting over 70? What makes hitting over 73.5 more special than anything else? It all hits the bank account just the same.
Hey, Dylan. You know how good it feels hitting those like under Iowa 33s? It's kind of the same thing.
The difference is one's good football and one's not.
Good football. The Iowa football sucks. Yeah, I can watch paint dry. I'd rather watch Peppa Pig than watch Iowa offense.
I thought Cade McNamara was going to be something special this year. That's what I was told in the preview show. What's going on there?
They're averaging 6 more points a game from last year. So
what they have
from -3?
I said they were going to be better, didn't I? I didn't say how much.
That offense
they're better than Wisconsin.
Not as good as gone with that contract.
No, he got us there. I got to give him that. Connor, you didn't have anything on this one, did you?
No, I'm staying off both sides of this. I really can't justify either side. This is a true stay away. Just fun to watch, like you said.
Like legacy game for me. Oh, if you wanted to get back in on the punishments, I know we said we excluded you, but
my God.
I'll let you in on this under here. I'm giving you a lot of points.
I want to. I don't want to watch this game. I want to stay as far away from
that's why
as possible.
But that's the whole point in betting unders is you just don't watch the game.
No, because but you're approaching it from a viewpoint of unders not being fun. For me, I like watching under games.
And that's why we all mesh so well together. We all bring different things to the table.
Hey, Dylan, college basketball's coming up in just about a month or so. Let me introduce you to Tony Bennett, Virginia basketball.
Oh, I love it. 124, 120. I love it.
That's a reach.
My hero.
120 is that's a very high Virginia team total.
Hey, you get 24 seconds for a reason.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's go to Austin. Let's do Kansas, Texas. This game I am very, very, very excited about. This is the game of the week in my opinion. Like Obviously, game day is going to be in Durham. That's awesome. First time in Durham. This USC Colorado game is going to be the clicks game. It's going to get all the views, all the TikToks, all that. But man, I love this Kansas team. I'm obviously biased towards this Kansas team. They beat my sweet Cougs last week. Texas is minus 16.5 right now on the road at Texas. I already took Kansas plus 17.5 and 17. I'm all in on this Kansas team. Rock chalk Jayhawk, baby. Jalen Daniels is going to walk into Austin. I don't think they win, but I do think it's within one score of this game. I think 17 is a wildly ridiculous spread when we've seen Texas play teams like Wyoming close until the fourth quarter.
I agree with you here, Carter. I think Kansas, this is a huge number. And whenever I see a number this big, my first thought is, okay, do I really trust the favorite, even though they're at home, to blow them out and have no doubt about it like that late in the game? Because so many times a spread like this, you see a team come down and score a garbage time touchdown to cut it to 13-14, which is meaningless for the winning team. But to all the people who take the favorite minus 17, that ruins their bet. I don't trust Texas to be up by that much in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes left when they inevitably stop trying when they're up 3 scores, if that happens. I like Kansas to cover here. I do. I think Kansas's offense is prolific. They put up 38 on BYU. Not that they have much of a defense. 31 on Nevada.
They do. BYU's defense is good, but also that stat is, and also in defense of the Cougs, that stat's a little inflated because they did have 2 defensive touchdowns. So go on.
Fair. Well, 31 on Nevada, 34 in Illinois, and 48 in their opener against who's at Montana State. So they can put up points. Texas, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I like Kansas to cover.
But that's the interesting part about this. Let's talk about who Texas has played. I know we're doing reading schedules here. Who has Texas played? Rice week 1, Bama, Wyoming, Baylor. None of them are prolific offenses. Yes, you can say, oh, well, Rice put up points against Houston. Houston stinks. They're terrible. Bama's offense is not an explosive offense this year. It is ground and pound, run the ball with Jalen Milroe. This Kansas team, Texas has not gone up against an offense like this Kansas team this year. I love Kansas here every which way. Give me the Jayhawks. I already sprinkled the money line. I got the plus 17. Very excited. This is must-watch TV for me. 1:30 Mountain Time for me. I am going to be on the couch glued into this game.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Love Kansas here. I think it's this Kansas team resembles Wyoming, but they're better. So they really focus on the run game. Their defensive line is really good at blocking for the run. And that always is going to favor the underdog. Whenever you can run the ball well, eat the clock up, that just narrows the window for the favorite to pull away. That's one reason why I like Kansas. I go and get the TikTok clip ready. Boop. I think Kansas wins. I think they beat Texas. Texas has really been a product of their schedule, and their only tough game was Alabama. Again, like we said, not really buying into them. Kansas is going to run the ball often. They're going to run the ball well, and I think they'll beat this Texas team.
I don't hate it. I'm all in on this Kansas team. I've been all year. My favorite preseason bet was Kansas over 5.5, 6.5 wins. This Kansas team's legit. You all know I have Kansas to win the Big 12 48-1. I've been all in, and I think they can beat this Texas team. This is going to be a close game. I don't see Texas blowing this team out. This is not a Baylor. This is not a Rice. This isn't even a Wyoming. This is a legit Kansas team that can compete for a Big 12 title. I truly believe that. They showed it again last week against a competent BYU team as well. I'm all in on Kansas. I'm taking the money line with you there too, and the plus 17, obviously.
I don't see a world in which this game is decided by less or by more than 10 points. There's no way either side pulls away by more than 10 points.
Or Kansas might win by 21.
No. Maybe stop that.
Maybe Kansas covers the minus 16.5 alternate spread.
Some are asking about the odds on that. What is that, minus 5 or plus 5,000, perhaps?
Some are saying free money.
Kansas's offense is prolific enough to hang around with this Texas team. I really do. I don't see them going down by 17 and then staying there. There's no way. So I like Kansas here too.
If you haven't watched Jalen Daniels yet, this is going to be your introduction to him. Yes, that Texas front seven's very good. You're about to see the Jalen Daniels show. He is so fun to watch. Let's move on, though. College game day is in Durham, Wallace Wade Stadium. The undefeated team in this matchup is Duke, not Notre Dame. This is crazy. Obviously, we didn't get to do a recap with the Notre Dame-Ohio State game, really. there's really not much to say about that game besides the fact that I know it's old news. If you're listening to this, you're like, I probably listened to 5 other podcasts that already talked about this game. I think I just liked both teams from that game. That was the only takeaway I had.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Dylan?
Yep, those teams play 10 times. I would say each one wins 5. That's about how evenly matched those teams are.
Yeah, I think they're both very good teams. But anyhow, talking about this game, Duke Notre Dame, College Game Day in Durham, Wallace Wade Stadium, first time ever. Duke is a fortress. Some are saying Duke is the hardest place to play in the country. I'm not necessarily saying that. Just some people are saying that. Maybe I am saying it. Maybe Duke is harder to play than like the Big House or Utah. So those kind of places. Those small schools.
Oh.
Yeah, those small schools. But anyhow, it's Notre Dame minus 5.5. Shout out the Raiders and over under 52. Duke. It's all Duke here, baby. This Duke team, we saw they played under the lights. They played under the primetime national television game already against, yes, Clemson's not a great team. Yes, it was a weird game, but they played under the lights. They played under national televised game. Everybody was watching. They've seen this pressure before. This isn't foreign, and they've done it this year with this team, with this coach. I like Duke to cover the number, and I think Duke ends Notre Dame's college playoff chances.
Wow. I'm shocked you're saying that, Karter, because the Clemson game from a Duke perspective was special. It was eye-opening. That was almost a month ago. What have we seen Duke do since then? They've played Lafayette, Northwestern, and UConn.
And guess what? What are you supposed to do against those teams?
And they've beat them convincingly. They beat them outright.
They dominated them. Lafayette 42-7, Northwestern 38-14, and that should have been a bigger score. Northwestern got 2 garbage touchdowns. Duke 41-7 against UConn. They did what they were supposed to do against the bad teams. They don't play down to their competition, and they play up to their competition. This Duke team is for real. This isn't a joke. We're talking Kansas and Duke football on the show. Those are the teams we're talking about now. This is real. This is happening. And what is Duke supposed to do against a bad schedule?
I'm not saying they have,
teams, but then teams like Carolina, they have to take apps overtime.
Oh, here we go.
Here
we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not saying Duke's did anything wrong. They've played their schedule. They've played who's in front of them. But listen, I'm not done. But they have not played a good team since Clemson. So that's why I'm worried that they're kind of comfortable right now. They're kind of comfortable. They're coasting. We're on top of the world. Game day's coming. There's no way we can lose. We got all the hype behind us. I don't think they're really understanding who they're playing. Notre Dame just came off a war against Ohio State. A war. You think they wanted to lose that game? There's going to be a bad taste in their mouth. They're going to roll into Durham and say, oh, this Duke hype, it's got to go. No way we're getting 2 losses this year. Give me Notre Dame minus 5.5.
All right, that's the punishment bet this week.
Give me Notre Dame minus 5.5.
Give me Duke plus 5.5. That's the punishment bet this week. We'll talk about the punishment after we analyze this game real quick. But
you just fired me up right there.
But you said okay, what has Duke even done since then? They didn't play down to any of these teams. Yes, they're not good teams. I'm not saying they're not even remotely average team. They are bad teams. Right. But they did what they were supposed to do. They didn't play with their food at all. They don't do that. Mike Elko does not he goes into this games. They go into these games competitive. They don't play down. They don't get blown out by these teams.
But Karter, it's natural. I'm not faulting Duke for who they've played and what they've done in those games. They have won convincingly, and that's a great sign of a good team. But it's just natural for a team when you play 3 bad teams in a row. They haven't played a good competitor in almost a month. It's just natural for you to get comfortable, get complacent. You're not playing that high level competition every weekend. There's been such a long cutoff break since they played Clemson. It's going to take them at least a half to get back into it. That's why I kind of like Notre Dame first half.
Or this is what they've been playing for. This is what they've been ready for. This is what when you saw the schedule, they said Clemson, Notre Dame. That's what we have circled. That's our season-defining, program-defining games. That's what we're focused on. It's going to be kickoffs at 7:30 Eastern time, nighttime kickoff. The lights are going to be bright. We're going to have Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler on the call. They're not going to come out sluggish in this game. Their adrenaline's going to be pumping. What I'm worried about is a dumb mistake where it's they have too much adrenaline and they're coming out of the gate hot.
I was going to say a huge primetime game in Durham, national TV.
They already did it. They already won.
Let's see.
They beat Clemson on ESPN. Standalone game, primetime to open the college football season. They did it already this season.
I was just thinking whenever there was this much hype around Duke and basketball for Coach K's retirement game, and then I was just wondering they came out flat.
No,
I don't
Coach
know.
K hype was like through my camera recording. You guys can't even see my arm right now because it would be through the ceiling. Then like the Duke football hype is right here. And now if Duke wins this game, if Duke wins this game, they got to play NC State. That's going to be one of the grossest games of all time.
Last thing I'll say about this before I let Dylan go. I wouldn't be saying all this and feel as confidently about Notre Dame if Notre Dame didn't just come off that gut-wrenching loss against Ohio State. Like they're gonna come out gunning for Duke's heads, and I just don't know if I can trust Duke football. And they might prove me wrong, but I don't know if I can trust them to take out Notre Dame, this powerhouse. We all love Sam Hartman Heisman preseason, coming off a loss like that. Like there's going to be a bad taste in their mouth. I think they come out and punch Duke in the mouth.
Dylan, go.
Connor, let me talk to you real quick. Carter, you don't have to listen to this part of the conversation. Connor, you think it's kind of weird that Carter said that Clemson and Notre Dame are going to be the two games that Duke gets up for when they have Florida State and North Carolina on their schedule? That sounds like someone that maybe didn't look at the whole schedule. I don't know. Might be someone that doesn't know Duke's football schedule.
Maybe,
Connor,
do you
hear that?
Those are the first two games.
Connor?
Oh, I just heard Carolina-Duke rivalry in football now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might have heard like a little chirp or something about, I don't know, Clemson, Notre Dame.
Florida State ranked 5th. I feel like that's a circle game.
Yes, that is the big game. But this is... Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Oh, yeah, there we go. Sorry, there was a weird delay there. What did you just say? Sorry, I cut out there.
He said Florida State ranked 5th.
Florida State ranked 5th, but Duke's not looking forward to that game. They don't have that game circled, but they sure do have Clemson.
That's like 3 weeks away.
Well, there was a point at the beginning of the season when Notre Dame was 3 weeks away.
This is not a look. This is not a look ahead game. Yeah, when it was 3 weeks away, you know who they were playing is Louisiana Lafayette.
But you're saying these games that Duke looked forward to. They're looking forward to Florida State. They're circling Florida State. They're circling North Carolina.
Yes, they are looking forward to that. But I'm saying, yes, you can circle. Okay, if you can circle 2 games, why can't you circle 4?
That's what I'm asking you.
Why can't Duke go undefeated?
You listed 2 games. You listed Clemson and you listed Notre Dame. You didn't mention Florida State.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying that they're not circling Florida State and North Carolina. Obviously, those are huge games. But the first 2 games of the season, that's what we're talking about. Why do I care about talking about Florida State? We'll talk about that in 3 weeks. And I'll say the exact same thing. I'm going to say the exact same thing. I'm going to say, oh, well, Duke looked forward to this Florida State game. They had this scheduled on their calendar all season long because Florida State was a preseason ACC favorite, and they're playing in Tallahassee.
Then when we were just talking, when you just said that they had circled Notre Dame and they had circled Clemson, why didn't you throw in Florida State? Why didn't you throw in North Carolina?
Because this is what we're talking about. We're talking about Notre Dame. And also, Carolina, yes, it's a rivalry game, but Carolina is going to lose a couple because Carolina's played absolutely nobody. So, putting that out there.
Oh, we don't have to go.
Minnesota is bad. App State is...
And they beat them. They beat Minnesota convincingly.
App State's going to win by two touchdowns this week. I'm just putting that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Dylan. Yeah. Dylan, sing music to my ears. Tell me Notre Dame minus 5.5. Come on.
Say it.
Well, I don't have a side, but I will say, I love the under. Love the under here. Both teams love to run the ball. Both bottom 40 in college football in plays per game. Neither of these teams are in any rush to get plays off. The Notre Dame rush defense has just a itsy tiny edge on Duke's rush defense. That is really the only edge I could find. Is that worth 5.5 points? I will let you guys decide. Obviously, one of you says yes, one of you says no. So if I were to pick a side, I would go Notre Dame.
Duke run defense is sneaky good. Dwayne Karter.
It is good.
Anyhow.
It is good. The gap is very small between those two for run defense. It's just a very little Notre Dame. I also will say I can almost guarantee you that Notre Dame is never going to have less than 11 players on the field. They won't let that happen.
Start getting like 13, 14. What if we start getting like 13, 14 players on the field? Marcus, I'd rather just take the penalty than get screwed on this.
Just be safe. Just to be safe.
Going back to last year though with Marcus Freeman, they first game of the season you lose to Ohio State, then they lost to Marshall.
Yeah, no, that's true. I just feel like Sam Hartman went in there. I think this Notre Dame team's a little bit better than last year.
They're not a little bit. They're a lot better than last year.
Okay,
I think that team last year wasn't very good. I just wanted to point that out there. I do think there is a little bit of a hangover dejection about it, but I don't think Notre Dame should feel that way because if Notre Dame wins out, clearly in the playoff. I mean, if your only loss is Ohio State, you're clearly in the playoff. And I'm not saying Duke is going to for sure win this game. I do think they cover the spread. I think this is a close game. I could see Notre Dame breaking Duke fans' heart on a last-second field goal. Like, that seems very real in this one. Like, nice 2017 game. That it's a little Big Ten football, if you ask me, actually.
A last-second field goal to cover the -5.5.
No,
I'd love it.
Why would a last-second field goal cover the -5.5?
Well, if they're up by 3 and then there's like 10,
but the last second time expires. Why would you? Yeah, you just take a knee. Bad math.
Well, they would. Marcus Freeman's a gambling guy. Come on, he knows. Him and Sean McVay have been in cahoots.
I mean, shout out you for getting me that +3.5 with Notre Dame. I'll just say that. But
no.
But anyhow, we got to talk punishment now. If I'm on Duke +5.5, you're on Notre Dame -5.5. I'll go through the list. I'll talk about what we have. Some of these are pretty bad.
Let's hear it. I'd love to hear the options.
A Get Ready With Me vlog posted on the CarterCast TikTok page.
That's brutal. Let's keep going.
We lost Dylan here for a second. Dylan, can you hear us? There he is. He's back. We're good. You're probably watching the recording. You're like, wait, what happened to Dylan? You're like, or he probably looks fine, but we didn't see him, but that's okay. Get Ready With Me vlog. Go to a local town hall meeting.
Oh,
and write an article about it on the website.
That's a good one.
I actually don't. That would be interesting. Yeah, actually, that might be fun.
Run a mile in Birkenstocks for 5 days straight.
I can't do that. I'm not sacrificing my Achilles for that.
Venmo a listener of the show $50. A lot of people are going to like that one.
Oh, wow. I like that one.
That's a new one.
I like that one.
You have to watch the entire rerun of Virginia Tech versus Wake football with no phone.
Oh, the famous picture.
Frank Beamer, yeah, the Frank Beamer 0-0.
I did that last Sunday.
I was at the
shock
game.
Me. That is brutal.
You were there?
Okay, I'll star that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, I was at the Wake Virginia Tech game.
You lucky son of a gun. Oh.
And I was with Virginia Tech fans, so that's even funnier. We can keep. I got a few more. Watch Super Bowl 50 full rerun, no phone. That's not fair. That's torture. That's not okay.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Okay. This one says watch Villanova versus Carolina when Villanova hits the final shot.
Watch Coach K's retirement party.
I watch that Villanova game every night before I go to sleep. I mean, I wake.
We can watch the Duke Carolina Final Four game.
Guess who blew the biggest lead at halftime in the national championship history?
That's fine. I don't
North
care.
Carolina Tar Heels. I still have the Snapchat from. I still have a Snapchat from you when you woke up the next morning. You looked like you wanted to die. So
I did.
Anyhow, another one was get on TikTok live until you solve an entire puzzle.
That's a pretty good one. I'm kind of leaning towards the town. How often are town hall meetings?
I don't know. I don't even know how to look these up.
See, that would be a good one. I actually like.
Usually twice a month. Usually twice a month on Tuesdays.
All right. I thank goodness we have Fox News Dylan here to help us out. My goodness.
I'm missing the Republican debate right now.
That one. I can hear you watching it in the background. Watch the other. I had two more. Watch Brokeback Mountain with no phone. That'd be. Duolingo every day for 45 minutes for a week straight.
I like that one.
And you have to come to the podcast and open up with like a 30-second to a minute, like whatever language you're doing, and you have to speak it in that language.
Let me think about this. How long does the article for the town hall have to be? How many words? 500?
I was going to say 500.
What do you think, Dylan?
Town hall, dude, and plus, like, you just moved to a place you've never been to, really.
I know. I would just be sitting there taking notes the whole time like a weirdo. I don't know. It doesn't make a difference to me.
Dylan, help us out here. What do you like?
What are your favorites?
I like the Duolingo one.
That's pretty rough.
But you got to
Do you
have
have to
some
pay
sort
for
of
a subscription to that?
confirmation. Some sort of screenshot you send or post on Twitter or something to prove that you did the lessons.
Yeah,
there has to be.
Duolingo does do that. They do the lessons or whatever. 45 minutes is so long at Duolingo. I would be fluent in Spanish if I did that in a week.
Guys, I've been logging 8+ hour days on data camp. You can do 45 minutes on Duolingo.
If you have a
Duolingo.
subscription I can use, Carter, I'll do that.
I don't have a subscription. I'm just glad you didn't say the Get Ready With Me vlog. That's the one I was worried about the
That's
most.
brutal. That one's brutal. That might be too much.
So we're down to the local town hall. Venmo a listener $50. TikTok live until you solve a puzzle, and Duolingo for 45 minutes between those four.
We can put a poll.
Do
we
it.
can poll Twitter.
Twitter poll. Yeah.
I like that.
Everyone's gonna choose the $50.
Don't put that as an option then. Do the other three.
Everyone's just gonna choose the $50. You're gonna be like, yeah, screw these idiots.
I say a Twitter poll.
I don't care. I don't care if Connor or Karter learn how to speak 3
We're
sentences
bettering
in
ourselves.
Spanish.
See, we'd be learning about the town. We'd be learning about the issues that the people want to bring to the forefront. We'd be learning another language. This is doing a puzzle, mental stimulation.
What I'm hearing from the Sparrow nest over there is that it sounds like you kind of want to go to this town hall meeting.
I actually might go anyways. Dylan's got me thinking now. First Tuesday of the month is coming up next week, so I might just need to go get involved, honestly.
A PTA meeting.
Oh, PTA meeting's good. Yep. Schedule a parent-teacher conference. Lie about having a kid in the class.
Does anybody else have any other ideas? We might have to just do the Twitter poll.
I like the Twitter poll, yeah, and we can decide what the options are. Yeah, I like that.
What are the options? We got to decide this right now while people are listening.
Duolingo, town hall meeting. And then I think the Wake Virginia Tech rewatch 0-0.
I think that one's gonna win if we put it out there.
Okay, I'm fine with any of those three. I think that's
All
I think those are good options.
All right.
I think it's good options.
All right, that'll be the punishment this week. It won't be on the TikTok or anything, but it'll be on the Twitter poll. So
We got to drive engagement somehow.
I'll put it up on my Twitter, personal Twitter at CarterB8. Follow at CarterB8. We'll retweet it on all the accounts. Post it. Go vote. And decide Connor's punishment. So anyhow,
okay. Go Irish. No, go ahead. No, you're right. Decide my punishment. Decide my punishment.
It's okay.
There's no way I win.
No, it's okay. The Vikings are going to win this week by double digits. Notre Dame's going to win by 20+. It's already over. It doesn't even matter. All right, that's it for college football. Let's do the podcast parlay and let's get out of here. My pick real quick is going to be Washington, Arizona under 67.5. Shout out Dylan for convincing me into that one. Dylan.
I got a lot of plays going through my head. App State minus 13.5. I can't remember why I took it, but that's what's in the parlay.
Yeah, this is a gross one. Everybody hold your nose at this game. Give me Boston College -3 against Virginia. Don't love Virginia's quarterback controversy. I think they're starting the worst quarterback this week. Boston College, not as bad as their record may indicate, I will say. I think they can cover the 3 against Virginia. This Virginia team, not very good, shockingly enough. ACC scum of the conference right here. But give me BC -3 against Virginia.
Yeah, and I also like this is a road game. This is in Chestnut Hill. Virginia has been playing their recent games in Charlottesville. Anthony Calandria, he's not going to, I'm all in on the Calandria crew. Calandria gang, I'm all in. So just peep that out for next season when Virginia's win total is like only 4 or 4.5. That Virginia next year, when it's Calandria's team, that's it. But you're right. Tony Muskett's starting for the Cavaliers. He stinks. He's terrible. He is not a good quarterback whatsoever. Calandria is the guy. He's memed in college football forever now after that little stance right there. But I love it. Boston College -3. That's the podcast parlay this week. It is Boston College -3, App State -13.5, Washington, Arizona under 67.5 on Pac-12 After Dark. That's it. I love that one. I love it. I love all the parlays this week. Anything else before we get out of here?
College football parlay is a gross one this week. I don't know if we've ever had this low profile games in there. I will say that.
we Connor, you forget. We used to take week 0 games a long time ago, 4 weeks ago.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, that's it from us today. Follow us on all social media. vote on the poll. Vote on the poll this week. I'll put it up on Instagram too. We'll put it up everywhere. We'll do the averages. We'll mean it out. We'll get stats department Dylan. We'll get an Excel spreadsheet, get it all labeled out, and then we'll figure out the punishment. That's it for us. Make sure to subscribe. Apple, Spotify, wherever you're listening, YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Follow us on all social media at CarterCast, at CarterBA, at Wilkerson A. Dillon, at Connor_Sparrow. Let's cash these parlays this week. Bryce Young, comeback season. This is when the Bryce Young hype train begins. We're back, baby. DJ Chark touchdown. Adam Thielen touchdown. Hayden Hurst touchdown. We beat the Vikings by 100 points. Just kidding. The Vikings are definitely going to win that game. And that's it from us. Make sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see y'all next time. Have a great football weekend. Bye-bye.